Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Shannon and I am cabin crew and have been for the last 2.5 years, roughly. I am cabin crew for a UK-based airline based out of London Heathrow. We fly internationally, so I do both long haul and short haul. And as much as I said I've been cabin crew for about 2.5 years, I did have 5 months of that off sick with anxiety. But I've now officially been back for a full year because I came back in April 2024. It's now April 2025, which is pretty crazy. So I thought it would make sense timing wise to do a fresh new Q&A. I get a lot of questions over on my Instagram messages anyway, so I thought it would make sense to come on here and just put it all in one place so you guys can learn everything you need to know about cabin crew. I haven't properly looked through these yet, so I'm a little bit nervous as to what's going to come up. Hopefully I can answer them well, but I will answer them as best as I can. Whilst I'm having a little skim read, I can see that there's stuff about the application process, there's stuff about the crew role itself, there's stuff about the lifestyle, all sorts of bits. So I'm literally going to go from the bottom all the way to the top and just answer as many as I can. I can already see a few that I've answered before, so I'll try and steer clear of answering ones I have already previously answered. There might be a few repeats, but yeah, hopefully after going through these, if you are thinking of becoming cabin crew, you are cabin crew, or maybe you're just nosy, I see you out here, then this can be helpful to you, and hopefully this can give you some answers to your questions. So first of all, thank you if you did ask a question. Obviously this video would not exist without you, so thank you for your input in today's video if you did ask a question, and let's get started. Okay, question number 1. Are there certain size requirements to be cabin crew, i.e. plus size, etc.? Really great question actually, because I don't think I've ever had this before. I don't think there are. I know there's height restrictions. The height restrictions, I don't believe there's a too tall anymore, but there is a too short. I don't know if this varies between airlines, but I know with my airline you can't be anything below 5'3", and that is purely because some people will say it's for the overhead lockers. Yeah, it kind of helps with that, but there is basically a stage in the application process where you have to go in and do what we call a reach test, and basically we obviously pray and hope that this never happens, but say you're having a really bad day and you had to evacuate the aircraft, you obviously have to open the aircraft doors and the aircraft slide will inflate. Is that the word? Inflate, yeah. And sometimes it doesn't do it automatically, and then we have a manual inflation handle that we have to pull, but you obviously have to be holding onto the door at all times. So basically, say the handle is here, you have to be able to prove that you can hold this handle at the same time as pull in the manual inflation handle for the slide at the bottom of the door, and then vice versa. It could be up that way, handle's here, and then the manual inflation handle is this side. So you basically just have to be a certain height to have a successful reach test. If that makes any sense. I probably just waffled through that, but I hope that does make sense. But when you're talking about plus size and things, I don't think there is. I don't think there's an actual restriction on it. I've flown with cabin crew of all shapes and sizes, so no, not that I'm aware of. Are heels still required, or does this vary per airline? This varies per airline 100%. When I first started with my airline, we had to wear heels through the terminal, and then when we got on the aircraft we had to change to our cabin shoes, but as far as I'm aware I don't think that's actually necessary now. Dream destination? Don't know. Great question. I've had that a few times on here actually that I can see. I actually don't know. I'm one of those people that wants to go everywhere. At the minute my dream destination is Tokyo because it's my last Disneyland to tick off my list, and I do actually have that in my next roster, so I suppose that is my current dream destination. Another place that I'd really like to go to, I'd like to go and live my very best Moana life somewhere within the French Polynesian area. I'd love to go there. But yeah, I'll be honest, I've managed to tick off a lot of my dream destinations, so I'm very grateful. How did you overcome the anxiety as so many don't? I've had a few questions actually about the anxiety thing, so let me just double check I'm answering them all in the same thing. Okay, so like I said, I was off with anxiety. I was signed off with the doctors for, I think it was nearly 6 months actually. When I first left, I didn't think I was coming back, which is just crazy because I couldn't imagine not doing this job now. Somebody asked about panic attacks. That was my problem. So I was having panic attacks the night before. I'll be honest, I went through 2 lots of therapy, very lovely people, very helpful, but I still can't say that I got to the bottom of what it was exactly that was triggering the anxiety. But what we did was try and minimize all the factors, try and get rid of as many factors as possible that was giving me those panic attacks. So as crew, there's quite a few things that we need to sort out before we get on the aircraft. So we have a briefing that we need to go to. We also need to look at what aircraft we're flying on, what position we could be, which cabin we're going to be working in, what the loads are like, how many people are on board, if we've got anyone with special assistance in our area. There's so many things that we need to think about. And what I used to do was the night before, I would get up my, what we call an ABS sheet, and it would tell me how many people were going to be on the flight, how many crew I was working with, where I would be in the order to choose my position. And what I mean by that is we all get to choose where we are on the plane. Some people have certain places that they like to be. Some people have ones that they hate. So basically, if you knew you were going to be at the end of that list, the likelihood of you getting the position that you wanted was a lot smaller than if you were at the top of the list and you could just choose it straight up. But I would look at all of those things the night before and then wake up in the morning and know exactly what I was in for. I thought that was me being prepared, and actually it was making me worse, because if I checked the night before and I was bottom of the list and the flight was completely full, then I knew I was in for a bit of a treat that day. Whereas what I do now is I look at my report time the night before, I double check it in the morning, I leave it. And when I get to work, that's when I look at those things. I look at all of that when I'm there, because then I'm there. So that was a really key thing for me to start doing, and I still do that now. Obviously you can still, it depends how you feel on the day. You could wake up and just think, oh my god, I'm having a bad day. Not today. It still happens, but I've still done what I can to minimize the chance of that happening, if that makes sense. Another thing for me was just, it's going to sound so cliche, but it's mindset. And I think before I was looking at cabin crew as if it was this huge thing. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, especially with YouTube as well. I was like, if I'm going to a new destination, I knew I needed to film something. If I went and I had in my head that I was gonna film and then got there and didn't want to, I'd feel like I'd failed. So I basically just told myself, it's a job. You're going in, you're earning some money, and you get a bonus of going to explore somewhere really nice. Pack your camera just in case, and if you're feeling up to it, film a vlog, and then you're winning. But I always used to put so much pressure on myself and made it feel like it was a much bigger thing than it actually was. You could be going to somewhere you've never been before with 21 other people that you don't know. Like, if you think about it, that is a scary thing, but like, just take it step by step. You've got a report at 1:30 for LA. Amazing. Let's drive to the airport and get there for 1:30. That's all you've got to think about. And then when you get there, get up your ABS sheet. What do those look like? Okay, it's full, but it's okay because I'm here now. I've done this for however long. I'm also with 20 plus other people that have been here however long and know exactly what they're doing. It is just a job. Just take it step by step. That's like the biggest thing I can say. And prep in what you need to prep, but don't go overboard because you'll end up talking yourself out of it. Somebody asked about how the company was with me. They were really good. There was no pressure. I have heard different from some people, and that seems to be when they're in probation. So if you're on probation, it can be a bit trickier, but at the end of the day, it is just a job. It's an amazing job, but it is just a job. Please, please, please put yourself first. You're not going to be doing yourself any favours or anybody else in that crew any favours if you turn up and you are only able to give 50% because you're not feeling your best self that day. It is okay that you're not feeling your best self that day. All I could recommend is making sure you have a big support group around you. Try and get some therapy if you can, but also try doing those things that I said, like ignore some of those factors the night before. Take it one step at a time. I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense. It's just such a hard topic to talk about. I'm going to move forward from the whole anxiety thing, but if anyone has any questions about that more specifically, then please send me a message and we can chat and hopefully you'll feel a little bit better. Okay, moving on then. Was the training hard? Yeah, actually it was. As you can probably imagine. The training was 6 weeks long. It's fun. For the most part, it is fun. It's very hands-on, it's very tiring. I definitely recommend prioritising your sleep and sorting out your eating habits for those 6 weeks because it's very hard, but so worth it. What's your favourite aircraft to fly on? A great question. I love short haul just because it's so simple, so easy. We were talking about those factors to get rid of that make me anxious, and doing short haul eliminates so many of those factors for me. So we fly on the A319, 320, 321 for our short haul, and I love those. If I had to pick a long haul aircraft, I would go A380. I just prefer Airbus over Boeing. I like the way it functions a lot better. Are you always jet lagged? Yeah. People have asked for tips on how to get over that, and I don't know. If anyone actually has any tips, then please tell me. People have told me things before, I've tried them all out, that don't work. Like, if I'm tired, I'm tired. All I do is listen to my body. But yeah, I am pretty much always jet lagged. What's your landing day routine? Landing day routine. Landing days are hard. You could clear at like 6 AM, right? And it's like, oh, I've got the whole day to myself. Basically a day off. It is not a day off, let me tell you. You are out. Normally when I get in, I get straight in the shower, I take everything off, get straight in the shower, come out of the shower. I actually try and unpack my bags pretty much therein. So I literally just get in some comfy clothes, whether it be pajamas or joggers, either way, comfy clothes are on. Then I open my suitcase, take out anything that needs to be washed, put it in the wash basket, and then I get into bed. That's exactly what I do. And that is basically the rest of the day. Do you ever take food with you and is it worth it? I don't really, I'll be honest. I really want to because I'd be so much healthier if I did do that. If I take food with me, then I'll probably take like a pot noodle or like porridge and stuff that's like contained that I know I can take through to the other side and wherever I'm going. You'll find a lot of crew do boot camp and things. They will prep a whole meal, take it with them. They'll prep food that they know they can take through to the other side. So they'll cook their own food the other side, and I'm just like, I just don't have the brain power for it. So if anyone has any tips and tricks on that, please put them in the comments because you can help me out as well as other people. How many cabin crew do you need for all of the different aircraft? Oh, that's one hell of a question. Depends on all the aircraft. So A380 is the biggest one that I fly on, and you need 22 cabin crew. Your baby bus can range from 3 to like 6. I think for 787, I think sometimes you've only got 8 crew on some of the 787s. 777, I think is usually like 10, 11, 12, something like that. Most overrated / disappointing place you visited. This is going to be really controversial actually, because I'm actually going to say LA. Obviously LA is great to go to if you're going to Disneyland, if you're going to Universal, or if you're going to explore like the Hollywood sign and stuff like that for the first time. Other than that, it's not very clean. Might be a nice way of putting it. I'd probably say LA is quite overrated. I feel like a lot of people want to go and feel like they're in the movies. It doesn't feel like that at all. It can be very dirty, and there's a lot of homelessness there as well, which is obviously everywhere now, but big time there. Like when me and Ryan we went to Venice Beach, which is a massive tourist attraction. I hated it. It was so dirty everywhere, and you get some interesting characters. That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'd probably say LA, but I will go to LA over and over and over again because they have theme parks that I like, so I don't care. What was the application / training process like? Sort of covered that in the training question, but the application was okay. My friend sort of talked me through the whole thing. There was quite a few little assessments you had to do online first, and then you do a face-to-face interview as such, and like induction kind of day. We did ours over Teams because it was just after COVID times. I do think they do them more in person now. And then after that, you found out whether you got the job or not. Then you had to go and do like the reach test and stuff, like I said. Oh, then you had your referencing to do, which was the hardest part. Talked about that before. It was just, you basically had to show 5 years worth of referencing from jobs that you've had and things like that. So that was hard work and took a long time. It's a very long process and it can be very infuriating sometimes, but stick with it. Overall, the whole application into the training process is just long and tiring mentally and physically. But again, worth it. What made you become cabin crew? Probably a mixture of my YouTube channel and of my dear friend Holly Smiles. So me and Holly have been friends since year 7 in school, and it was always Holly's dream to be cabin crew. She did travel and tourism and all of that sort of thing. She flew for EasyJet and she now flies for the airline that I'm with now. I just really enjoyed vlogging and traveling at the same time. So Holly said to me, why don't you just become cabin crew? And I was like, sounds great. And that was basically what made me become cabin crew. Any bad customer stories? Yeah. Just sometimes people don't realise the difference that the altitude can have on you when you've had a drink. So that's affected some people. That affected my Johannesburg flight on the way home actually. Quite a few drunk passengers, bit crazy. Is the reality of cabin crew what you expected before you joined? I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. I've said this before, but a lot of people think it's a very glamorous job. Half the time you're eating on the back of a toilet or next to a toilet. It's really not that glamorous. So pros and cons of working with a different team each flight. That's a good question. Cons, I'd probably say that it's very rare that you will meet someone on a flight and then stay in contact with them. You won't obviously know how some people work, so then people could clash, I guess. It can make you anxious, obviously meeting new people every day. Pros, you have a different experience every flight. A lot of people tell you tips and tricks everywhere you go, which is amazing. Make new friends. If you've got a problem that you don't want to share actually with your family or friends or whatever just yet, You can talk to crew. Crew talk to each other about all sorts of things, probably TMI, but like our galley chats are just great. You don't have to worry too much about the response you're going to get because the odds of you seeing them again are slim. It's probably more pros than it is cons, to be honest. Do you prefer long haul or short haul? The only reason I would prefer long haul would be because I get to travel. If I had all the money in the world and I could just do all my own long haul holidays, then I would pick short haul every day. I prefer short haul as cabin crew, but I prefer traveling, obviously, and you get more travel out of long haul. Do you ever sleep on flights? If so, what it's like? Yes, we do on long haul. I've mentioned this in one of my other Q&As, so I'll keep it short. But yes, we sleep on the plane for long haul flights. We have a break of however many hours it works out to be. And if you picture what you think a tour bus would look like, that's usually what our cabin crew bunks usually look like. Do you need to know how to swim? Yes. So before the full-on training starts, once you've done part of your application and all of that, the first part of the training is going to do what we call our wet drills, and you basically have to prove that you can swim a certain length, that you know how to use the life jackets, that you can swim whilst towing someone, and that you can climb up onto a raft. Do you need to speak another language? No, I don't speak any other languages. It used to be the case, so you'll still find that a lot of cabin crew, probably the majority of cabin crew, do speak multiple languages, but it's not required anymore. How long are your long haul layovers? My god, that's a tongue twister. Sounds like a vocal warm-up. Depending on where you go, they range from 24 hours for long haul and then can be up to 56 usually. I think the longest we stay down route somewhere is a 7-day trip. So that would give you 4 days down route. The longest trip we have overall is a 9-day Singapore-Sydney trip, but that one you go to Singapore, you have 2 days in Singapore, you go to Sydney, you have a day in Sydney, then you come back, do 2 more days in Singapore, and then go home. They all change, but the shortest one for long haul is 24 hours, at least just less than 24 hours. Can you still be a flight attendant if you have asthma and hearing loss? Asthma, I don't know. I don't know if that's something they check for. You do have to show medical records basically, and you have to pass like a medical test. I don't know with asthma. If anyone's watching that does know, maybe let us know in the comments. Hearing loss, I know, is a definite yes. The way it's been worded is hearing loss, so that to me sounds like complete loss of hearing, so definitely wouldn't be able to be crew if you had full loss of hearing. But again, that's something that gets tested in your medical assessment. Can I be crew and have tattoos? Yes. I think a few airlines have been really lenient on it now, where you can actually show tattoos. The airline that I work for, you definitely can't show your tattoos still, as long as you can hide it, and that doesn't mean with makeup, so you can hide it with uniform, so socks, tights, long sleeves, then yes, you can be crew with tattoos. Someone also asked about piercings. My airline only allows to have 1 stud in at a time. So if you've got 2 or you've got more up here, you can't have them in when you're working. You can only have 1 on each. And I don't think you can have nose piercings or any other face piercings either. I think they only allow for the singular stud ear piercing, but every airline is different. Do you only work in one section, for example, economy, business, first class? You can be trained on all 3. I'm currently trained on economy and then business class, and then you can get trained in first class as well, but you will only work in one on a flight. But that doesn't mean you can't go and help other cabins. Say you finish really early and maybe they're having a hard time in a different cabin, you can still go and help them, but your position will solely be in one cabin. Would you go for management position on board? No. Never say never, but I don't think I would ever want to move up. I'm quite happy with my current responsibilities. And final question, what's your favourite/least favourite part of your job? Favourite would be the fact that I have been to however many places I've been to because of this job. So the travelling aspect is definitely my favourite, and obviously it provides the opportunity to take loved ones with me as well, which is such a plus. My least favourite part of the job, can I say my drive to work? Does that count? Least favourite is probably just that feeling before you go into a briefing room when you don't know anyone, you're anxious and you don't know where you're going to be and all of that. That's probably my least favourite part. And that is my final question. So thank you so much for tuning in. I know this has probably been a very long video. My camera is actually about to die. Thank you again for all of your questions. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any more questions, any follow-up questions, let me know down in the comments or send me a message over on Instagram. Happy to chat to any of you over on there too. But yeah, that does bring me to the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. Happy flying to all of you that are cabin crew, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye!